Hello and welcome to EPIC45 with Intel, brought to you by Asus ROG and Overclockers UK. I'm Nebula once again, joined by Sheba. For day 2 of our Valorant bracket, we are going to be getting into the lower bracket semi-finals of Aconite versus Office Chair Moment. So
Yeah,
this should be a pretty exciting one for us.
yeah, definitely. Again, both of these teams are the teams that we saw as contenders for that top 4 slot in the tournament, and these guys are fighting it out to be the ones to face one of the teams in the, I don't believe it's actually Chile. I believe Chile are in the top grand finals. Lower there is actually going to be the last resort. A small error in the bracket, but don't worry. We'll correct that for you guys. Aconite and Office Chair Moment, they're duking it out to go up against the last resort. Aconite looking to seek out the rematch against the last resort, where I believe Office Chair Moment haven't faced them just... No, yeah, they haven't faced them just yet. So if they win this, it'll be a fresh matchup. If lost, it's out, it's done. Their run at Epic is gone with not a lot of silverware as well. 4th place, still a good achievement, but you want more than that. You want to be on that podium, and Aconite, they are hungry after, honestly, what you could see as an exhausting, devastating battle to unfortunately be the one on the wrong side of history with.
Yeah, and that can also give you hope for what they can do in the future and if that rematch happens, right?
Yeah.
But Office Chair Moment, if they progress throughout this lower bracket, there would be completely new matchups in the lower final and grand final if they were to make it that far. However, this match in the top 4 is already a rematch between these two teams. In the group stage, they faced in the best of 1, and it was 13-11 in favor of Aconite. I believe that took place on Haven. So it'll be interesting to see whether that's a map that comes out in this best of 3 map veto. And it looks like we're about to see those come up now.
Oh, no
Insta-Corrode ban. Oh, okay, the Lotus coming out. And Haven does get banned by Aconite. So even though they took the map in their own hands, they don't seem as confident on it this time around.
Yeah, this may have been just generally due to the success that Office Chair Moment have on Haven. I think one thing that they're maybe a little bit worried about is the threat of the Neon. And I think that's why they left Ascent open this time, despite unfortunately not doing too well against Last Resort on this particular map. I think they clearly, these bans that I'm seeing from at least on dealing with, not wanting to deal with the Corrode, one thing, really good Neon map. But I'm surprised to see Office Chair Moment getting rid of the Sunset. That was another map that I thought they would be willing to dive into. But maybe Aconite are prepping something that they know that we may not. What do you think of the bans themselves? Because I'm thinking of a bit of a confliction here. Like, obviously, I'm going to pick Lotus, a very universal map, generally speaking, but does also open up cases for the Neon, right? Bind is a completely different deal. Sunset is one of those maps that I would see Officer Moment gunning to use if they want to exploit that very anomalized Neon play that we've only seen from a rare case from the Last Resort and Jilly abusing like crazy, considering how strong Luki is on that map.
I mean, I think Lotus also sort of gives that option, right, of a map that Neon is very strong on, and you're sort of able to lean into her strengths on a place like that. So it will likely just be a place they have more reps on, either with that Neon or just in general as a team, just a preference macro-wise towards Lotus as opposed to that Sunset. And I realize in the second stage of this veto, Aconite banning Haven is really interesting considering that really close series yesterday against Last Resort. They got to overtime and almost took the series against those opponents, but Ascent was a 3-13.
Yeah.
So having the final decision to go to Ascent over Haven, they must feel that that was a fluke, or at least that they can bring it back in a drastic way against these guys if it goes to that decider.
Yeah, that Icebox pick makes a lot of sense. We saw some really good success from them and very strong traits from that team. So Aconite having that is solid. But Haven being a third map is interesting to say the least. Ascent being that last one is interesting to say the least. But I think that composition that play that they had last time might have been a bit of a fluke. If they're that confident still, they had that double control, double sentinel deadlock comp, which could be the thing that changes it. But onto Lotus to start the series off. It's a very popular map. It's always been tried and true with our tier 3 teams. You know, this is a rare moment, thankfully, for this epic that we see Lotus. Almost it feels like we can't escape Lotus. But I think for us particularly, we've been quite fortunate to have some pretty different maps being played in this tournament. Still sad to not see Corrode, but compositional-wise for Lotus, not the most jarring composition here from OCM. In fact, they're not going to be running the Neon this time for OCM. They are going to be sticking with Raze, and Aconite going with a slightly varied comp. Instead of running the double Initiator, they're going to be running the Solo Fade with double Controller. Miso and Joak running running Viper Omen.
Yeah, they brought out that harbor on the icebox previously, which
Yeah.
we could see, or
again,
very
no doubt.
likely to see in the following map. But the scoreline going into that is what's going to be what we're about to find out here. And Joak on that Viper, we saw yesterday the amount of impact this guy can have on his lurks.
Absolutely.
And Viper is an agent that absolutely excels in positioning like that. And we've seen in Northeast relegations and other tournaments that Aconite have played, Joak has taken that role and is very often put towards A main. They don't fight A main as commonly. It's sort of Joak being the person to listen out for what's going on there, and then that can be a big part of the information and piece of the attacking side for Aconite to dictate where they're going to end up in those late rounds. But definitely going to be something that Office Chair Moment will have to know what response they're going to give to that Viper wall, since it can be very disturbing.
Yeah, Joak was excellent last series up against the Last Resort at providing that pressure and being that information feeder towards Bubs, who's the IGL, to make them make the good call, right? And I think Joak is going to be continuing to have that run. He was absolutely excellent on those lurks before, and Lotus is going to be a map with no exception. Granted, it's a bit more of a rotation-heavy map, less so a lurk-heavy map. You will have a couple instances where you can lurk up maybe through C to catch them up on the rotate from B. You can go up through B and just make pressure by breaking that mid utility usage, like the Vice Wall that we're seeing from OC Moment. But regardless of that, we're going to get into it now. Stakes always high, and these two teams are really gunning for a chance to face the Last Resort in the lower grand final, for a chance at top 3 and a chance to face Jilly
The trap's activated on C.
Already initiations in. First blood dropped. Misu's go down first, and aside from that, the trap, although there, not the most successful as they were hoping for. They only managed to grab one, but still was that entry piece to be taken out early.
Joak has found so much space over towards A. Aconite have instantly been able to rotate to this side, and they have a safe entry into this A site. Office Chair Moment are going to be scrambling to run across this entire map as soon as they're aware that this spike has gone down. Synergy over towards CT. Office Chair Moment are going to not opt to take the flank.
This is a slow rotation.
Yeah, that they have to run all the way from main into defender spawn. It's going to take a while, and they'll only have 2 avenues to go through. Miso, though, isn't stunned, so he'll be able to keep fighting alongside Bubs, and they'll find a 2-for-1 in the initial engagement. But OC Moment will answer back. Bubs, stuck in main, trying to be a nuisance, will kill the first and a third kill on the round for Bubs, looking to secure this pistol for Aconite. And OC Moment is the only one left, but headshots onto Hayden make it very difficult. Bubs is 1 HP. He could not peek past that grenade. He has to swing now, and OC Moment will take down all of the remaining players of Aconite to recover the pistol for Office Chair.
Bubs was a hero at the start of that round, taking those tenacious close-range fights with the Sheriff, but after that, he was bleeding and bruised. He could only do so much with the sliver of health he had. The nade from OC Moment was that response to the communications. He knew he was low. He knew he was going to stay away from that nade with a 10-foot pole, and that was an easy pressure to force Bubs to go into that fight with risk, with a scary prospect of knowing that you are 1 shot away from dropping dead, and you have to hit some scary shots with that Sheriff to do the right play. It just wasn't enough.
Yeah, and we are going to go into a bit of a tech pause here, but just in that final moments, also in that 1v1 when it was only Bubs left, from that where that spike plant was, since it was planted more towards tree than for main, they had to swing. OC Moment knew that Bubs had to swing to get that information, since there was so much ground to be covered to actually get vision of where that spike is.
Yeah, I agree. I think as well, OC Moment really took a proactive approach onto their retake. You notice that they were really pushing out, committing to those fights, and not letting Aconite claim that the space they had often that post-plant situation. They took very heavy fights up to the top of A main, and that ended up being the thing that won them out, especially considering the fact that they started with 1 man up. They knew they wanted to abuse those numbers, and this next fight is going to be representative again of taking that space.
Office Chair Moment decide to turn their attention over towards A, but Synergy gets 2 with the Outlaw. Okay.
Oh no, Outlaws, man. They are rapid-fire operators in situations like this, and the timing just couldn't be right for Aconite.
Get caught with utility out.
Almost getting caught out and dying here with Ares in hand as well. That could have been backfiring really badly if Aconite managed to claim the space further, but unfortunately, able to tag. What happened here? Modi with the judge catches out Joak. kind of off screen here. And 3 members on the C site have fallen very quickly, and from nowhere, Aconite are practically forced to just commit to something here. But really, what we're going to do is attempt to get a 1 and deal some financial damage. That's really all they can do.
And I was about to say Office Chair are going to be able to quickly respond no matter what happens. That Vice Flash is used to give Synergy the information, and they will peek out once again to find a 3rd on the round. Hayden doesn't land the headshot, so no damage done to Office Chair Moment in terms of guns lost in that round. They're going to convert that anti-eco and put themselves in a good position to have a chance at dealing some economic blows to Aconite in their pistol.
Aconite knew they were taking that initial risk going for that split. They had an pretty very split going through and through, right? You had 1 on A, 2 on B, and 2 on C, and it just didn't work out. They fell for that peak with the Outlaw on from Synergy. And when you go and take that risk, you hope that you can either make them whiff or they're just not there. They're somewhere else, and it just didn't happen. That split, Aconite trying to split them 1 by 1 and then commit to a full force push didn't work. But now they have the better weaponry, and this is their chance to abuse that superiority to get themselves a point on the board.
Seeing a very different defensive setup coming out from Office Chair Moment in this 3rd round. They have 3 players positioned over towards B. Now they're vulnerable from that door opening. Only a shotgun in the hands of Nova is not going to be able to find anything there. Misu will take them out. Joak aggressing up towards A main, is about to catch a fight, but who is ready for it?
We already had a judge last round. They're very, very aware that he could be lurking in the shadows somewhere.
Oh, and Joak spotted. Aconite speed up towards A main, but so will Office Chair Moment. 3 of their players were originally rotating over there, but now that the sound has been suppressed, Office Chair Moment to reconsider. Moment's going to be positioned towards A link, ready for a split, but I believe Miso over towards that C site is teleported. There's a lot of space on either side of the map for Aconite. Misu finds a 2nd kill in the round and Bubs a 3rd. There's such a big numbers advantage for Aconite now. All of their members standing. There's a really late flank coming through from the C site. This is looking pretty much impossible in this retake for Office Chair.
This is a difficult prospect here for Office Chair Moment. I mean, you need to try and do something. Damage matters in this anti-eco round, but in a bonus round it matters even more. Because the more damage you do, the better odds you have of ensuring you can keep the momentum on your side. But for Modi, it's not going to do much. And Miso, perfectly timed on that flank. It's back-to-back flawlesses from both teams. This time, Aconite will convert this 3rd round with no losses to worry about.
I wonder if that push from Misu was even necessary, but just the confidence to go for it, making sure that they clear out all of those numbers on the side of Office Chair, and maybe just wanting to be sure that none of them were saving, right? Since if you invested a couple heavy weaponry into that 2nd round and try to survive in the 3rd to keep it into this one, it could be something that you don't want to deal with if you're the side of Aconite, but that won't have to be a threat for them. Office Chair Moment opting to go back to fighting A. It's going to be 4-3 to go for that. Joak is slowed down slightly as the rest of Aconite is over towards C. A couple of their players just back off for a moment to grab that spike. Looking to spot a bias wall, but it isn't there. That's going to prompt Misu to enter into this site. The paranoia comes out from Office Chair Moment to try and stall Aconite.
To full engage quickly onto the C site to claim it for themselves. OCM are allowing this to go through, and Misu with that on top box area is perfectly executed to take down Synergy. That's a massive Thorn taken out of the picture, and Misu is just running out alone to commit these ones. Enough confidence to go in with no mercy. And OCM just over time losing members. Nova with this Odin, hoping that that was going to be used better on this A site. But it seems like Aconite either making the right read or just generally feeling confident more on that site, and it's going to backfire horribly for Office Chair Moment. It's up to OC Moment himself to really take the reins and even out the numbers, and it's worked out. It's backfiring for Aconite.
The insurance from Joak, though, the late lurk coming through will find 2 and put it into a 1v1. Nova only has 3 HP. Hayden is about to swing out that gets up to half, but Hayden will claim it and even out the rounds early on for the side of Aconite.
Thank goodness. A very particular nitpick to note there is that Hayden missed that first shot as he swung into there. Had Nova reacted quick enough, that could have been a disaster striking there for Aconite. Almost a free kill served on a silver platter. Hayden's nerves has to be recovered here. They need to get themselves back and warmed up into this. Last time on the final map of the game, Hayden was suffering from that nervousness, and it ended up being one of those core things that we had to point out towards the end of the series. But Aconite this time needs to warm up. Hayden's been experienced before. He's excellent in previous epics, and he has been excellent throughout this tournament. But with a previous bad result, he's got to bring that confidence back.
Here. Share moment once again, seemingly doing their pistol setup of a trap towards C main. 4 members towards that area of the map. Misu has used this boom bot already and is just going to opt to back away. If Aconite read this correctly, they could just have a 5-on-1 on this A site. It's only Synergy on the Vise left to try and delay this. Storms for both entries. Joak.
Oh, Joak make noise.
Noted.
He is
going to be slightly stuck in this position as the rest of Aconite are going to charge onto this A site. Synergy drops down, is now locked into Vise and will get a headshot onto Misu, but Bubs returns the favor immediately.
They almost lined up.
He's going up for a very deep angle, and Misu has it covered also. The Outlaw will find 2, and now the rest of Office Jet trying to find their way back into A, but Hayden does not want to allow that to be the case. Miso will find a 3rd on the round and a 3rd on the board for Aconite.
Yeah, slight error of Office Jet moment with the utility dump that they wanted to use onto the back site. It was timed very poorly compared to when Miso had that effectively rapid fire operator. Call it operator. It basically is at this stage when you have a little bit of damage ticking down. And Office Jet moment, they seemed not so paranoid about that lurk from Joak. Maybe, I mean, if I was to guess, when you get tagged by those thorns, you can't guarantee it's their lurker. Yeah. Still really quick to rotate regardless without hesitation. And even then, still backfiring a little bit. Aconite won through sheer numbers, and it works out very well here for them. They're going to be able to keep snowballing this as this buy is not going to be in the best state here for Office Chair moment.
Oh, and Modi's been tagged. They're just going to have to teleport straight out of there, but going for the refight and gets caught out in an unfavorable angle. They're going to re-clear B main with that Prowler, but Misu is charging in to C site with the Showstopper. Is going to go into CT, try and take so much space and will take out Synergy immediately.
Excellently timed and placed from Misu. That decay as well from the Nightfall ended up paying off so much, doing just enough damage to take him down. Oftentimes from that angle, sometimes he won't be able to deal the killing blow. That helped a lot. Now Officer Moment are stuck between a rock and a hard place. They do have the Nightfall in hands. What matters is whether or not they wish to take this risk. Nitro first. But it's exchanged from Bubs here. Miso is hacked through, and he's actually spammed through. It's gone into a 2 versus 3 with still both the main pillars of the ultimate economy for Officer Moment to work out one by one. Aconite are losing.
How does Bubs' turret not cover him there? Hayden putting it down to just 1 member left of Office Chair, but it's the same on the side of Aconite, and Hayden gets caught out. But there's no time. Office Chair Moment, that was crazy how that got into such a close position, but wow. Aconite still converting the round at the end. Aconite were forcing the issue in C-Link over towards CT. You can argue whether that was really necessary there or not. It was a 1-for-1 engagement, so definitely not bad since Bubs was still able to get out, but then being caught from the back by his turret, seemingly not watching the angle properly.
Office Chair Moment with a great moment from Office Chair Moment himself. And although unfortunately the defusing come in, it shows a little sign of weakness from Aconite on their post plants. Can't let yourself be isolated that way, especially now that Office Chair Moment have such a great economy going into this. It's going to be another battle off the C site, but this one way is going to suppress things just a little bit.
Oh,
Shadow step though, Modi, another overzealous position, but this time he gets away with his life as OC Moment off screen will get picked off by Joak from A.
Oh, Joak finds a second also. Aconite have so many options now on this map, and that forces the Fade to move up on B main, but Joak gets caught out, is not ready for that sort of aggression from Nova. The lockdown comes in to give Aconite an even bigger chance in this round. They're still looking like they're going to commit to this C site here.
And when you're down 2 numbers, you have no choice but to try and take a risk on that push, and it pays off. Modi again trying to follow suit with his teammates on the risk, but it's paid off really poorly here. It's reversed back in their faces as Nova's detained on the back of Pillar, and it won't be long until he's caught out unless they just choose not to claim the space. It's a free picking for Nova!
Nova somehow not caught in that position, but will be stopped after just 1 kill in their favor. Synergy with the Sheriff, so much to do, and such little firepower, such little health to get it done.
5
Unlikely
ultimates.
that this round is converted, and
He does get
shots missed, but it's just being stalled out.
He does. Obviously, remember have a lot of ultimates coming up. All 5 there intact. This could be used for an excellent retake play if they really wish to, or if they want to take the space. It really is up to their choices here. You've got loads of options in this next round, and in that scenario, you can't be losing with 5 ultimates here. If you give Aconite a site for free, they do have this Viper's Pit, so that makes me think that you might want to use an aggressive play, and Modi is going to call that timeout to decide what they use with this economy that they have. Aconite do still have some really threatening abilities that can counteract this strategy.
Yeah, this is a good timeout. You're likely going to be able to brute force this round if you're office chair moment, but it seems like with their defense so far, they're rotating between 3 or so different setups. And if Aconite have gotten that pattern recognition down extremely fast as to which setup is which, it's actually quite telegraphed where most of the players of office chair are going to be. As soon as Aconite hear what's going on C main, is there a one-way, is there an ohm, or is there a player that's caught by our Prowler, Joak then knows, okay, there's probably someone out on A or an A fight. As if there's all of the players over towards C for office chair moment, they don't show anything. They just wait for the noise of Aconite. They wait for a trap.
It has to be something like that, right?
That presence that's shown on C main is quite a teller for office chair. Maybe if they send someone out to C, send the Rays instead, and then have players more heavy towards B, more heavy towards A. Use the conditioning that you've done previously to switch up the read Aconite have on this half.
Yeah, aside from that, though, generally speaking, Viper of Aconite is going to be pretty much doing the same protocol that we expect. Usually we've seen him walk up here and throw down this orb to ensure a lot of presence and paranoia from that rotation up through rubble. And Joak is going to be able to still claim a little bit of space, but this operator in his hand is risky, to say the least. He's getting a bit pressed here by 3 members of OCM, and he's going to be effectively forced to just hold this jump peak. If someone else swings him deeper, he's going to be forced to give away a lot more space, and that's going to be some very scary things to be dealing with an operator at close range. Still, threat is present, but he can't do anything about it. Operator given away here. Joak is gone, and so Aconite have no choice but to entry onto the site.
Yep, no choice. As you say, Misu flying into the C side, but is separated from the rest of his teammates. Will eliminate Modi from the round, though, and a second in favor of Aconite. They now have complete control of this C site, and they're going to take the extremities. Office chair moment will still have control of Waterfall, though. Aconite will know that as the horn comes through. The same will be the case on the side of office chair. Misu finds a pick so deep into the defender's spawn. Office chair are not going to be able to make any use of their ultimates in this round. Oh! As I say that, Nova, Nitro find 2. It's a 1v2.
He gets no one.
Nitro, and they've all ran off from main. They're all running away because of where the spike is planted. Hayden with 3 on the round, and it's a 4-round lead in favor of Aconite.
You can't be wasting these ultimate potential if you're office chair moment. You are getting picked off on the site. You can't concede these fights. You know the lurker is dead alone on A. You have to expect a fast push from C afterwards. Once that lurker's out, you can't rotate. You have to commit. Otherwise, the space is too free to lose. And still, even then, office chair moment take the fights on site and fail. That's the critical mistake they're making, and Aconite can now snowball. This economy from office chair moment is not going to help them. They have no reason to use the ults this round.
And that's especially the case when you have a buys wall on B, right? They have information on 2/3 of the sites on the map. Office chair moment are seemingly going to do the same they did in the previous, pushing into A lobby, taking that extra space, as Aconite only typically puts 1 player towards there, but they're going to be rotating to try and recover that death of Joak, but Office chair moment are going to smartly back away. They're keeping their numbers advantage. Miso on the C site, just outside of a smoke. Omens on either side. No combat found just yet. Breaks the buy splash, and they're pivoting very fast over towards C. Modi in close range with a Bucky. Aconite are now aware, gets pinned and tagged by the Prowler. Do they pivot to B? Do they run to a different site? They're going to open the door to have office chair moment consider that
Miso
possibility.
Where?
Oh my goodness, Miso is already in this C site, and they have no idea where Modi is, but now they do, and he's out of the round. Nova is the same also. Aconite looking to convert this anti-eco. Miso finds a 2nd kill in the round. Hayden can get that spike down. It's unlikely the showstopper comes in. Misu swinging on 1 HP. That's a bit brave, but will still have his life. Nitro finds a first to start off
quickly
a potential miracle, but it's just OC moment. Very unlikely. Maybe going to just try to prevent Bubs from getting out of this site to remove weaponry from the side of Aconite, but it may not even matter with their economy at this point. Bubs will find that last kill. And Aconite just finding continuous success on so many different areas of the map.
That being said, this was a little bit risky from Aconite. You notice that From the Shadows was used deep into safe plant on site. That's, generally speaking, very scary. You have no clue if someone's ready to hold on to that spam up from the back of water. And he was a little bit attacked there from the utility usage of Nova, but he still manages to survive. And it's a good combination of what oftentimes is seen as a much less potent ultimate compared to the rest of the roster in this game. And that's where you use it, usually with the Nightfall if you have Fade. And it did work out to a little risky degree, but it still paid off for Aconite. Into this next round, Officer Moment are continuing to pursue this aggressive space-holding strategy, but this time it's pivoting towards C. A is left open with just Synergy, now forced to run for the hills.
Instant kill from Nova in round 10. And Office Chair Moment changed up how they started the round. They put so many players over towards C, but they weren't just hiding, they were aggressing. And that early information has allowed them to rotate so fast over towards A, but in rounds prior, they have gotten picked off before that retake is started. Now they're going to have all 5 members alive with a numbers advantage. Joak is going to invest that Viper's Pit over towards main and stairs to try and stall the members of Office Chair Moment to getting through this, but they will just charge through that avenue. All the same, Joak finds a first with the classic and the shorty finding it back from Miso. Nova does spot Bubs in the one-way. That Viper's Pit now dropped down. So many kills for Office Chair Moment as they wipe the sight of Aconite's players. Miso, though, is going to swing out, won't be able to deliver that clutch. And Office Chair Moment will close out a start to recovering this half.
OCM put everything into that round. The Steel Garden, the From the Shadows to scout, the Nightfall, the Showstopper to fully initiate. They used everything there, and it will, to a decently close margin, pay off. You had a moment there where Bubs was not checked from that one-way until you saw that turnaround to get him picked off. Had that not been checked, it could have been very, very bad. But thankfully for OCM, it does work out, but it is at a big investment. They used everything they had in that round. And so now Aconite can time out and think of a way to utilize this. If we were to hold tab and look at the economy here, check at the ultimates that we see around here present from both these teams, we can have a look to see which orbs that Aconite could prioritize and looking into. Which player is close to the, maybe a Nightfall, maybe in Lockdown. That's what I would guess would be the most likely ultimates that they're going to be pursuing here into this. You have the Showstopper to aid off of that if they choose to use it this round.
We just saw them utilize that Viper's Pit, so definitely will not have that in the equation. But Aconite taking this time out, they don't want to let this half slip away. They want to have a dominant scoreline going into that defense. They don't want to let Office Chair Moment make it close to have a similar story to what happened in the group stage of 13-11 in the favor of Aconite. But now this is a best of 3. It's a completely different ball game. But this is Office Chair Moment's map pick. You definitely don't want to go out in a scoreline like this, and they have more than an opportunity to bring it back.
It's going to be another proactive approach here from OCM onto C. It's going to be the same thing they did before, but this time they're not really going to have that utility to deal with the retake on A. It's another early battle skirmish onto the C side. Nothing really is going to be made off of it. No contact made. Aconite assuming that they're going to be a little overzealous and take a peek, but it's not happening yet.
Office Chair Moment doing the same adaptation that they found prior to the timeout, using that Fade and Breach utility on C to show their presence.
They're crunching from the door?
And then moving instantly over to B, but it's a C-trap from Aconite, and it seems like it's going to be perfect. Misu will find both C main players with the Showstopper, and Office Chair Moment got caught by the perfect counterplay from Aconite to give them a great situation in the start of this round. Joak now has the potential to activate over towards A, and the smoke on stairs is going to be even more convincing if he decides to apply pressure. But actually, that could work against Aconite. Since their Sentinel is so deep on A, they have the information that no one's committing over towards that area. But even so, they're going to rotate. There's been no noise on C yet, but indecision as that Prowler's broken.
I mean, this was absolutely an excellent adaptation here from Aconite, and they've managed to really claim the space and the presence. They slowed down the freeze to maybe make OCM paranoid about this. Joak's lurk pays off, the paranoid takes out Synergy, and they're just going to be running out and finishing off Aconite in clean succession. That was an excellent trap play adaptation. You kept the comms, you knew there were 2 around, and you took the risk to push out through, and it pays off so massively there for Aconite. Definitely one of the best team plays that we've seen so so far from them. It's just beautiful. Bubs just quick on the decision making. It massively helps them out, and now they might be able to get a 9-3 half here on Lotus.
Evidently a worthwhile timeout from Aconite.
No doubt.
Likely noting that adjustment that Office Chair Moment did, and since they did the exact same thing coming out of that timeout, Aconite were ready to have a way to respond to it. Instant flash comes through, and it seems like they're going to do a similar thing, showcasing the breach, and then
Mr. Satchel!
The blast pack got destroyed, but OC Moment will make it out with just 2 HP to their name. Aconite still have 4 members over towards this C site. Office Chair Moment will have an additional member put towards A, and now just throwing the awareness awry is what Aconite is going to try to achieve by opening this door, not making as much noise on this C main anymore. Still a very even defense for Office Chair Moment in terms of their positioning, covering all avenues. Nitro just jiggling to get information on this A main. Bubs is going to be stomping there. The Horn to confirm presence.
Office Chair Moment quite disciplined in this. Only now have they decided to prompt into the rotation, but Aconite have read the read. They're going back to C, and it's going to be almost a free site completely here.
Office Chair Moment bit the bait, but we're seeing this a few times where there's a start of a very long rotation, and then halfway through, some of the players opt to back out as Aconite are not committing to one location. But will this Vise will stall them out? Miso will teleport over the wall. They will get 3 players past it, so they have so many players ready in this C site, and there's only one place where Office Chair Moment could be safe out of that lockdown. Miso will clear that now, and gunfight's already over towards B, and now the retake coming through CT. Modi, OC Moment are going to be trying to charge out into the C site. Paranoia comes through, doesn't connect onto Hayden, though. Even more flashes. Bubs will find a first, and Hayden on an island, but now receives support from his IGL. Modi jumping around, doesn't get taken out, will actually find Bubs for themselves, jumping over the site. Nitro will find another. Joak is the last one standing, has 3 in the round already, but Modi will be smoked off. Joak has seen the position. Oh, there are bullets in the Phantom, though. No, there were not. Joak with only 11 HP for a 4K clutch, and he will deliver for a great scoreline at the end of Aconite's attack.
We saw back-to-back errors in that 3v3. You notice that Hayden backed away when Bubs called for the double swing. You notice that that Nova just jumps in with the Aerie so brazenly. It just gave away a free number for them, and I get it. You have to get rid of that post-plant threat, but still, it was a little bit too panicked, it seemed, from both of these teams. But when Joak is there, he is the composed one in the lobby. He walks in, cleanly gets the pick, and is patient, uses his shorty to his advantage, knowing that Modi is desperate here, and it pays off hugely here for Aconite. 9-3 half onto the Lotus, onto the defense now with double controller. That's a very heavy map control centric comp. This is going to really help them take control of the tempo in the map.
With that said, Office Chair are going to turn the tempo up on their attack side, instantly throwing so many members towards B main.
Misu's
Hayden
stunned.
now assisting Misu, who's stuck in this corner, but the smoke will allow him to get out of that. So much presence towards B main for Aconite, as they have no one on C just yet, but that alarm bot will be there to deliver the information. That is now found.
That smoke's a fake. There's a fake smoke onto
C.
C.
There's a fake smoke. Bubs has
presence.
no idea whether they could have crossed or not, and in response, Aconite are going to clear out B main to find information on that location, and they're going to see this cross, but Nitro will land the headshot, and Hayden is so weak, cannot continue to stay for that trade, and now Office Chair Moment are all in A main here. They almost have to commit to this side of the map unless they pivoted to B. Miso still with the paranoia. Joak in the corner. Miso out, but not taken out. OC Moment diving into the backside. Joak still in this position, but will not be able to overcome OC Moment.
They made a
read.
read.
It's a 4v2 in favor of Office Chair Moment, still clearing every member out, and it's a great pistol and a great opening to Office Chair's attack.
Oh, I mean, Aconite made a bit of an incorrect read. They assumed that they'd be rushing through A main with full presence, especially with that smoke coming up from stairs, but they went through tree and just ran it down. It was a free sitting duck from Joak there, not really able to be in a safe position, knowing that someone else was awaiting his swing through main, and it didn't work. Aconite's plan backfired here just a little bit. And Office Chair Moment punishes so well, and just winning their gunfights individually as well. A team ace, all 5 of them really locked in. That push up from B main was great to catch out those late rotations. Aconite have done really good jobs at making these fake degrees of presence, those fake warning flares to alert Novice Chair Moment, but this pistol round has shown the discipline that OCM can possess and the way that they can counteract those lurks.
And the fact that those kills came through from Office Chair Moment whilst Aconite were re-clearing B, it just gave them so many options as Aconite saw their players moving towards A, so that would be a reason to be convinced that they would want to end towards A, but since those members fell and that alarm bot was already gone, you could reroute to C. As we get into Office Chair's anti-eco, around that should be confident, feeling that you can secure. Misu is going to hear this C main noise as he's already posted up behind that box in B main. Maybe
it's going to be snuffed.
To open the door. Bob's in a position ready to fight. There's 3 members from Aconite who would be able to take a 3v3 on this C main. Do they hit the trigger though is the option. Aconite, Jelak and Miso hearing this jump spot from OC Moment over in A main. Will he be caught out?
Stingers though. So
Stinger
scary.
So close. Everyone in such close proximity.
They swing
Joak will find the first blood in the round as Aconite want information for themselves. They take it in A lobby and Office Chair Moment are going to charge into this C site still with so much drastically better weaponry on their side. Misu is just going to bait that door opening. Will instantly run away, but Synergy has all the information. There's no one committing to that flank through B. Aconite are now all ready to go for this retake.
That's
the go button, the paranoia. Misu now looking to take first contact, spots Nova. Blinded up, Miso jumping out, the classics going in, but Nitro spamming through 2 smokes. The rifles seemingly always coming out on top. Misu will land a nice headshot onto Synergy, but that's all she wrote. 2 standing for Office Chair Moment coming out of round 2.
Yeah, good attempt from Aconite to go into a double jump swing with Classic into the smoke, but I think they overwhelmed themselves a little bit too much by being too huddled together. You notice that Bob's got body blocked slightly as he was trying to jump in, and that made that jump a little less prevalent as it would be, and the spam was just excellent from OCM to finish that job and ensure that threat doesn't make it happen, doesn't make any value come true. That being said, though, still a good round from Aconite, taking down 3 members in that bonus round to make Office Chair Moment a little bit more worried about this in their economy. That being said, though, full buy now in for Aconite. They need to flip the script. If Office Chair Moment keep this momentum going and win, this could be disastrous. A wall bang there from the Outlaw, making Synergy remain to be that threat from the long-range angle. Joak will escape, but a little bit bruised and a little bit injured. Half HP left to his name.
Not ready yet.
Should have a way out with that Viper Rob, but won't take it. Nitro instead will take that kill. And OCM already have hero rifles in this round. Aconite need to find another advantage, need to find a way to even out this sort of circumstance. They find information on B main. Oh my goodness, this timing out of A lobby. They don't pass that by doesn't get punished for it.
No.
Aconite get a better picture.
They use
of
the
what's
paranoia
going on.
as well.
Paranoia is already invested, and now that alarm bot is gone, Aconite have seen presence in every area of the map right now. Hayden spots that again, and now you have to know this C hit is coming through. Bubs is the only one to stand here. Will catch the teleport, and now looking for more. Gets 2 on the C site hold. That's all you could ask for from Bubs, evening out the numbers. 2 in B main, looking to go for this flank. Nitro will blind them up though. They're going to be stalled out, still not out of B main just yet. Hayden is holding the line in Waterfall, but OCM have control of CT. They have so much safety in their positions, and now Hayden the only one remaining, and OC Moment is in an unknown position.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a few errors there from both sides, but I think it's important to know Aconite may have made a bit of a misplay there from Joak. You notice that you walked out from C alone, gave them a rifle. You can't really be giving that away if you're Joak, especially with how much value your walls are for the presence of concealing yourself, your intentions from A and B. It was a risk that he took almost a little too brazenly, I'd like to think, but regardless of that, OCM played this really well. Although a few over-aggressive attempts there up from top and giving themselves away a bit too timing to losing that paranoia, it was still good enough to that X-Tech on C for them to win it out. And this is now made Aconite in a bit of a stressful situation here. You're about to give Office Chair Moment 7 rounds, and it's going to be close now to being a 2 difference with loads of ultimates to be built up here for Office Chair Moment that they can use into this next attack.
A lot of pressure being put onto B main from OCM, and them converting that bonus round changed the narrative for the second half. It makes their economic situation so good for them. Only 3 rounds apart. And looking like it's going to be 2. Miso once again aggressing up A, and Synergy will not be having any of it.
Battle of the Lurkers won by the side of Office Chair Moment.
Miso has to re-aggress, has to look for something. A wallbang headshot takes OC Moment down to 90.
He'll proudly take that one. He walked off, knife out instantly.
But feels like you'd want more. You
need numbers.
Yeah, you want numbers and an opportunity. Somewhat gone awry. Aconite are going to gamble stack towards this A site. It's a call you understandably make in a disadvantaged situation like this. The Nightfall is going to come out over towards that C site, and Aconite will have the idea that no one is near their side of the map, and potentially they may just go down to the spike since it's such a difficult retake for them.
Yeah,
that Vise will probably going to separate all of them.
This is going to be it. This is going to be a moment. This is going to be just a moment where they're just going to concede to the spike here, I think. Oh, they do have a sheriff, so they might be able to catch someone out, but I think they already know because of that wall being triggered, that Office Chair Moment can really gladly just take this space up through water and spawn to isolate anybody who tries to do a cheeky flank. Aside from that, you've got Synergy with this Outlaw who, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised is going to be willing to let this go so he can have a Vandal into the next round. Because Aconite, with this eco, they're going to be going full buy, full shields. This Outlaw won't be as potent.
Nasty surprise for Synergy.
Oh, he's soon going to be walking into what basically is a firing squad, but he will still get away with 1. And that's a plus contribution to your ultimate. The steel gun is going to be closer and closer now for Synergy, getting 2 orbs like that in a blink of an eye. But the rest of Aconite will concede to the spike, and now what was initially a 9-3 half is now a 2-round difference in favor of Aconite. And so Bubs will go into a timeout, maybe a recovery looking to be sought out here, be it mental, be it mechanical, be it strategic.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the money exactly is in this situation, but OCM still are seemingly going to be in a great position. Yeah, as we see the money on both sides here. I mean, Synergy losing that gun basically has no impact. All of OCM close to max money, and you're going to need a string of rounds before Aconite start to make a dent in that.
You can also see Nitro's 1 orb away from taking that that Rolling Thunder that they can be used for the retake.
Yep.
Synergy's 2 orbs away from a Steel Garden. There is a lot of scary potential that you can use with this, but I think generally speaking, everyone here do have a high presence of ultimate economy. All of them have decently close numbers towards it. I mean, really, Nova to be the outlier with this, but being said, it's important to note going into this. They might be willingly just taking this aggressive space up. Look, they're going to be 4 stacking up from C. No doubt they're going to be giving Nitro this orb and just claiming the site for free with that Rolling Thunder. If I was to guess, they want to continue to claim this because Aconite are desperate in this one. If they lose this round, they are in absolute tatters.
Could be a C-trap in response.
Maybe even.
Players are in a pretty good position to do so. 3 members of the defense are going to be towards this C side.
Miso might be able to throw this Paranoia with the Showstopper. He's holding it.
Does come out. Miso finds the burst and kills back and forth. The Aconite will find 3 for 1 in that engagement with help from the Showstopper. A must-needed gun round win for their side, and it's already a 4v2 just 30 seconds into the round.
Aconite find so much value from these timeouts, man. They know exactly what Office Chair Moment are thinking. They are in their minds. They knew exactly what they were going to try and plan around. Nitro took the orb, took the Rolling Thunder, and what can he do now? Nothing. Bugger all. He's going to have to hope he can get a 1v1 before even thinking about using this Rolling Thunder, and the money from Aconite is still going to be present here. You've still got really good weapons.
If a 1v1 does go in favor of OCM, though.
Threat is still back, yes.
That Rolling Thunder could give them extreme confidence to take over this round.
Non-existent.
We'll find a 3rd on the angle. 2 of members of Aconite holding that is so difficult to break through. Synergy with this operator. In most scenarios, you would want to save this, but Office Chair have so much money that it's not even a worry. Okay. Wallbang body shot will come through. Miso on 1 HP, but still going to just hold this position. You've got your teammate ready to trade. And that spike's just going to be a sitting duck, and Synergy will
10 seconds left.
opt to save this operator. Aconite are not going to be hunting that down.
It's a rare weapon to have around for the attack side, but it works out if you want to play against the Lurks here. Synergy's been pretty consistently hostile with these sniper-scoped weapons, and it's paid off a lot with this Outlaw that he had for a long time. Now, with a much bigger price tag on that, he's got that Operator in his hands, and it's going to work out in dividends as long as he can hold that on. And on top of that, you don't want to give an Operator to the defenders either. I know Aconite, generally speaking, don't have a composition that can abuse it as much. You have Misu on this ace, no Chamber, no Jet, no Neon. Even Neon would be really good to abuse Operator if you know how to play it right, but you still don't want to give it to the defenders regardless.
And the eco looking
really scary.
The eco looking much more even on both sides now.
Yeah.
Aconite are not actually close to any impactful ultimates in this sort of round. Both Omens teleporting on top of Rubble, and Modi will come out on top with 2 kills out in A lobby. Instantly, they're going to speed up onto this A site. OC Moment maybe able to spot out Hayden. He's so weak now, and the Thorns will take him out.
He had no choice. He had to back away. He was a free kill right in front of him, and he didn't think the Thorns would get there in time. But that's a critical mistake there from Aconite. And now what was seen as a disadvantage now is almost certain to be a solid win here for OCM again. Excellent aggression usage, and they displayed that superior anatomy on that battle on Rubble. And with that, a massive numbers advantage early out of the gate. So much pressure applied, and they have so much util still to be used. And so, it's only going to be a matter of time unless they just get a little bit too greedy. Modi walks out, Synergy goes out with the Operator, and suddenly this could backfire. It's up to Jorik and Nova in the 1 versus 1, and it's Nova to still survive and keep Office Chair Moments winning odds up.
Whoa.
That almost was disastrous. They got greedy.
A similar round to what happened in the previous half, right? But flipped. Aconite had a round on that C site in their attacking half where they got a bit too eager. Joak had to pull out a clutch to pull it over the line, and now Office Chair Moment having the same thing. They had 3 members posted up on tree on the same angle watching that spike. That's so difficult to break, especially with the utility that Aconite had at hand. But Aconite were given the fight, and you give them an inch, they almost took a mile there.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But that being said now, very big, fair split here from Aconite. Still looking to be a bit more proactive up from C. Got Misu hiding in this box with Miso soon to be the bait. Maybe even going to invest a Paranoia to sell it, depending on how eager he is to let Misu stick around in this back corner.
Ooh.
OCM are kind of slowly starting to stack themselves up towards C. A fake tap of the orb will not tempt Misu to swing.
OCM suspecting a trap after that Prowler comes through in B main.
Oh, Misu this time will take the bait. Paranoia thrown out. OC Moment is stuck between a rock and a hard place, and he will fall. Off screen on the opposite side of the map, Synergy will win the Sniper 1v1. Battle of the Lurkers goes in favor of OCM, and now they are pivoting rapidly up towards the A site, where only Bubs awaits with full Killjoy util on the site.
Now Bubs is called on to deliver, find his 1, find his 2 potentially in this site hole, or just get off and play it safe. Miso's teleport is going to come through, and now that Bubs opted to go out to safety, he is going to dodge that Rolling Thunder entirely. Miso still stunned though. Bubs will find 2 on the A site, 3 on his own. Looking for a 4th. Synergy's not at the angle he's expecting though. The Operator kill will come through. 2 more for Synergy to take this round. Office Chair Moment, but there's 13 seconds on the clock.
They have util ready to be thrown the moment he taps the spike. Horn is revealed, and he can just be spammed from the wall. Miso though won't land it. Only 5 seconds. He's forced to stick. This is a free round, unless
no time.
No time. A sigh of relief for Aconite. That almost backfired disastrously, but it finally, I mean, thank goodness Misu was a little slower on the draw for the trade. Had that been different, it could have been over. But still Aconite, they're bringing round slowly back in their side. 11-8, 1 more round here, they secure match point for the map.
Although it got scary at the end, that was
no doubt
beautifully played by Aconite, and just what a round from Bubs.
Yeah. Bubs was the hero there. He noticed that Modi was going super aggro to try and catch out anyone caught from the back pillar for the Rolling Thunder. He manages to just really save his team when it really matters.
That's an Omen ultimate, but it gets cancelled. Miso will be aware of that. Couple ultimates on either side here. And Miso is just going to be sitting in this corner, is not detected by Office Chair Moment, and they are all going through tree. Steel Gunner comes through, and Miso with the judge will be able to find that kill just before his shotgun gets taken away. One member of Office Chair Moment has found their way out of tree. Now multiple will follow suit. The paranoia will hit multiple members in a 1-for-1 on the A site. Miso finding a third in the round, and Bubs will secure the last for Aconite, and it's map point.
This round, superior shooters are on the side of Aconite here. Good utility usage to start with an attempt there. You saw usage of potentially, I believe it was just the horn or something else alongside the ultimate with the omen off from the shadows from Miso. But that judge play just with the Steel Guard and proc to take down Synergy was excellently timed. That presence, that pressure from main with that operator is out. And that just gave so much confidence back to Aconite to claim the site for themselves.
And a play like that from Miso is so unexpected unless you're aware of that sort of gun on the other side. And yeah, now the Omen operator, he's tagged quite far back on the A site, so Office Chair Moment know they're likely playing passive here. They open tree to allow the threat of an A hit enter the minds of Aconite, but they're running over towards C, where it's only Bubs once again, but he's already playing off of this site. Very unlikely that he tries to hold his own here. The showstopper comes out to just clear of any players.
Moment's a bit paranoid here. He's not claiming as much space he'd really want with this showstopper. He has to spam out, but with only a stinger in hand, he's choosing to commit to stay close in the site.
They turn their attention to Waterfall, though.
They've got the lockdown. Maybe that's why. Maybe they think that they're going to be using the lockdown in. It's exchanged. Now it's suddenly back to slow. It's a trade back and forth. It's just Bubs alone in the 1v2. And he loses.
It's Joak in the clutch, though, but he has such little resources to work with. 30 HP. Hasn't been taken out just yet. Taps the spike to force a peek. Nova, 1 HP in the open, will take out Joak to keep Office Chair Moment alive in Lotus.
Almost a disastrous situation there for Office Chair Moment, but they took the initiative and ended up being the superior team in that one. You saw Bubs with almost a potential moment to really flip the script there. But Office Chair Moment, honestly, were really coordinated together. They decided to pivot towards taking the pressure that they knew that lockdown would be invested up from water to prevent that situation from taking over the site. And it worked out really well. Taking the initiative for themselves, playing together, using the numbers to their advantage, knowing that Aconite would be a bit more separated.
This is now the horrifying part of a comeback when the team on map point
reaches
around, but they have so many ultimates on the board, but Miso is going to be caught in the open. The showstopper will find one back, though. Hayden, still in the open, will find his way back out to safety. The Viper's Pit is out on C main. Nitro is just sitting on the edge of it, hasn't gone into it yet, but the spike is over towards C. It doesn't look like they want to commit into this space, but they've made Joak aware of players towards this area.
Viper's Pit from Joak is really potent here, making Officer Moment waste so much time, but off-screen, Synergy just claims 1v2! That is, how do you get away with this? Synergy is locked on time so well, and he just wins those 1v1s with a Phantom like it's deathmatch. Joak has to take initiative now. Numbers are down. He needs to hunt. And the Viper's being down shows Office Chair Moment that he's going to be either behind them or back from B. And if they choose to claim more space up through C long, that information will not take long to be discovered. And I think Aconite, at this rate, they just have to hope Joak can deal some damage. And his info's been revealed. With 1 HP left, there's nothing that he can do. I think Aconite are just going to be forced to save what they have.
How opportunities being given away like that. Hayden, the only one of the rifle left on Aconite, trying to use this Prowler. He probably has an idea that it's a high-low waiting for him. OC Moment will be the one to claim it. 4 standing against 1. Joak with a judge and a single point of health. That's not even a point saving this gun.
I'm not even going to give him a chance here. Modi taking the same distance with this Vandal, abusing the superior arsenal in his fans. And I mean, what do you do if you're Aconite aside from just let Joak claim the death to the spike? That's exactly what's going to happen.
But the fact that OCM, that Synergy, got those opportunities on B, Aconite seeming almost too eager to close out the game. 2 ultimates already invested, you only have 2 left. OCM are going to be close to finding that for themselves. There's now no get out of jail free card for Aconite. You just purely have to outplay Office Chair Moment when the momentum is now on their side.
I think they were suspecting a potential push to the Viper's Pit regardless here of Joak's presence, and that's when they maybe had synergy here, one rotating out through B, and so one free kill, and then the trade attempt from Heaven just doesn't work. And Aconite are taking a much more stacked approach to invest more numbers up through B. They have a Viper's Wall up there as well to add presence a little more. And I have some good ultimates to use for this retake. And Nova has that Nightfall, and I wonder how this is going to be adapted. Who's going to be drawing first ultimate usage here? Who's going to be losing the game of chicken?
This could be a big fight over on C main. Joak.
If this is timed well in favor of Joak, this could be huge.
Oh, if this fault line hits. Oh, and he walks into it.
Oh, he walks into it.
But another fight over on B main still goes in favor of Office Share Moment.
Not
Synergy
again.
finding 2 and 3 down for Aconite.
You can't let Synergy get away with these angles. Initially, they were so stacked, but they didn't claim the space. They didn't make Synergy sweat. They just walked into him. And granted, they have no money, and maybe they want to not be as heinous, but you have to do something to stop Synergy from doing this, because at this point, he's done it too often. It feels like he's done this for like 4 rounds now. Aconite cannot find a way to pin down the Vice Lurker of Overshare Moment, and it's paying off hugely for this team. They're going to be getting 11 rounds, and Aconite are not going to be investing anything into this. They are going to concede, surely. And look, Synergy again. He's taking this for free.
Time. Not able to get 4 on the round. It's going to stay to 3 as Hayden will land a headshot, but not enough time to take out all of these members. He's going to get an opportunity to try and find as many kills as he can, but no more ultimate orbs will be acquired for him as he already has that Nightfall. But Aconite aggressing towards C main. They changed this setup slightly on that eco round, having the Killjoy put their information towards B and A, playing retake on that side, and then just walking up C main. And it feels like they're able to identify where Synergy is and want to push him off of the angle. Yeah. But it just doesn't work.
It just doesn't happen. You need to do a little bit more here. But Aconite are desperate in this round, and you have some scary ultimates like Alpha for OCM. You can use the Nightfall to claim the site and the Steel Garden to store more time. And that Satchel reveals 3. That Haunt might not be chicked, but you're still committing to the skirmishes here, and it's working out for Aconite, but Nova will respond.
Satchel out.
It's a 2-for-1, favoring Aconite into A engagement at the start of the round. Still 1 minute and 20 left on the clock. Synergy once again in B main, a thorn in the side of Aconite for Office Share Moment to stay alive in map 1. They need this round, if they want that to be the case, to go to overtime, and they will slow the round down on their attack, not making any noise, but Joak will not be doing the same. He is aggressing through C main, finding so much information, and that Nightfall surely has to convince Aconite of this. A hit, Misu off of that information will swing and take out Nova. Joak catches Synergy completely off guard, returning the favor. And in the same scoreline as the group stage, Aconite will take the first map of this best of 3, looking to make that spot in the top 3.
Really close, really scary initially, right? You saw Synergy really hold reins of control of the tempo there, but towards the end, they ended up keeping that confidence intact and not letting themselves choke. We saw them choke last time on Haven against the Last Resort. Not this time, not today. The opening map, which is not even their pick, will go in the favor of Aconite. They must be really happy about this one.
Yeah, going into your own map pick, that must be such a relief to end up closing out a map that you had such a good initial scoreline on, especially on that first half. And we're going to be going to a quick break before map 2, but don't go anywhere. It's lower bracket semis.
Make your vibe. Make your vibe. It's too late, I know now. I'm giving in, I can't back down. And you're so hot, your web I'm caught. Just one more night, tell me to stop. Although I know we must come to an end. I tell myself I'm okay, but I know that I shouldn't pretend. I'ma do it anyway, wanna beat up, want your bad love. I'ma let my hair down now, wanna get down to my favorite sound. I'ma let you in real close, I know I shouldn't do this right. I'ma do it anyway, I kinda wanna lock this down. Wanna beat up, want your bad love. Wanna beat up, want your bad love. Wanna beat up, want your bad love. The way I feel, you in my bones. You wrap me up when we're alone. How could I call this bad love when all I want is more? So put me up against the wall like you ain't afraid to love me hard. Although I know we must come to an end. I tell myself I'm okay, but I know that I shouldn't pretend. I'ma let my hair down now. I'ma let my hair down now. Turn the beat up, turn the beat up. I'ma let my hair down now. No, I shouldn't pretend. I'ma do it anyway, turn the beat up, want your bad love. I'ma let my hair down now, wanna get down to my favorite sound. I'ma let you in real close, I know I shouldn't do this right. I'ma do it anyway, I kinda wanna lock this down. Wanna beat up, want your bad love. Wanna beat up, want your bad love. Wanna beat up, want your bad love. I shouldn't pretend. I'ma do it anyway, turn the beat up, want your bad love. I'ma let my hair down now, wanna get down to my favorite sound. I'ma let you in real close, I know I shouldn't do this right. I'ma do it anyway, kinda wanna lock this down. Wanna beat up, want your bad love. Wanna beat up, want your bad love. Wanna beat up, want your bad love. Wanna beat up, want your bad love.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Are we back?
Yeah.
We're so back.
I think we're back.
You do it. You go.
Okay, well, welcome back to EPIC45. We're getting into map 2 of Aconite versus Office Chair Moment. After Aconite took Lotus, the opposing map pick, 13-11 in their favor. We're going to be moving into Icebox.
Icebox, this time is an Aconite map that we think is a lot higher potential, right? Lotus is very universal. I think a lot of teams are generally quite strong, but considering this was the opening pick for Office Chair Moment and it didn't work out, just barely a fake comeback, you could call it, right? They were really close to bringing it. 9-3 was the first half for Aconite, and they were pulling it through, but this time it's changed. Now Aconite managed to claim it, finish the job, and it's now up to Icebox to make this a clean 2-0 victory for them. And to say the least, these guys have been really strong on this map, particularly particularly with their composition. Harbor, Viper, double controller from Aconite is something that we don't see too often in this tournament. Generally speaking, it's always the single Viper with either just nothing else, or maybe an Omen sometimes here and there. Harbor Viper is a very gimmicky comp that was used very prevalently back in the day in like 2023 when Loud pioneered it initially, and it has been used from time to time in other tier 2 and tier 3 events, but generally it's not really the mainstay nowadays. But still, it's used for this team, and they've had good success with it in this tournament. And on top of that, Icebox also generally has good variations for other agents as well, like the Duelist. We could see the Reyna come in here for Office Chair Moment. We could see the, you could see other initiators as well. You could see Gecko. You could even see Sage if you really fancy doing that. But I think knowing Office Chair Moment, they're very traditional, and they like to run double initiator a lot on this. I wouldn't be surprised if they stuck with their guns and went with the usual KO Sova comp that they like running.
Yeah, I mean, something that there's a lot of variety on this map, as you're saying, especially in multiple roles, really, but really
almost every role.
Sort of that second of a role slot, whether you want to run double Senti, double Inish, double controller. The other controllers, the other agents that are the primary ones in their role are sort of very common. The Viper, the Killjoy, some of the Duelist options. If you're running a Duelist, it's likely going to be that Jet, right? If not, maybe the Waylay in some occasions. But the variation of double controller that Aconite run is something that really gives you a lot of options on both sides. I'd say it enables you to have a much slower play style with much more ways to give misdirection to your opponents or just deny information on both sides of the map, with that Viper wall on B on attack and the Harbor wall being used towards A that's refreshable, and also on that defense, just more options to stall your opponents out, cycling those pieces of utility.
Yeah, it's also really solid for just securing the site entirely on attack. You've got that high tide that, if timed well, plus a Cove, makes the planting process so easy. And we've seen Aconite love abusing those belt post plants, and they've done it to great succession. They did it really well in their last series against Last Resort. Despite being on the back foot, they ended up continuing to push through, and their defensive protocols on top of that, Joax Lux, are exceptional here. I have not had a chance to see Office Chair Moment play on this, but considering they're rocking the KO, I wouldn't be surprised if they make a very proactive approach once again. They're not passive. They're not going to be waiting for them to come to them. And that's the composition that Aconite can abuse. That's the style they have. So it's a clash. It's an unstoppable force versus a movable object type of comp. Do you think that dynamic's going to be there, or do you think it's something different?
It could definitely be the case. I mean, as you're saying, I doubt that we're going to see any compositional changes from each side, likely sticking with that double initiator. And that could be a big thing, especially for their defense. Breaking through that denial of information that the double controller has. Yeah, being able to re-clear things really easily, not in the sense of if you had a Reyna or a Chamber just straight re-peeking things, but having an option to get out, just using a drone, a knife, you're going to have confirmation of whether someone's in that area, and it's going to be the timing of utilizing those in the right way, because if you do it slightly too early or slightly too late, it could be very dangerous.
Yeah, that's the important thing, right? You need a lot of coordination with this composition. If we assume OCM are going to be running it, you're going to be having to use really well-timed flashes with very quick peaks. You're going to be having to have your jet dash at just the right time. And on top of that, you're going to have to be very reactive with the information you get off of the KO knife, for example. If you find out that you managed to knife a Killjoy from backside on either side, you got a gun for that, and make sure you secure that fight, secure that space before any of that user can come back to fight you and bite you in the backside. And I think, although mid-control is going to be so dominant for this, I feel like OCM might be able to be a bit more lenient on how they handle their mid-control. You can run the Knife, you can run the Sova Dart. Now that you have two sources of really strong information, you could be a bit more varied in the way you handle that. For example, I often see when people run those double initiator comps with the Sova and the KO, they like to have Sova go for a dart to watch B main instead of focusing on A, and KO can be the one to bring that back, or use the flashes for an aggressive site take, for aggressive belt take. Sorry, and so there is alternating ways you can break the usual mold that you see on this map.
Yeah, and definitely with that sort of cycling of information, it's going to be very interesting to see how that's handled, and also with the mid information, especially with dealing that Killjoy utility from the attacking side. Maybe, I mean, having that KO can give you more options on what abilities you use to take out that turret or force the adjustment. Often a Killjoy Molotov lineup is used on that initial turret position on Boiler to force a Killjoy to have a bit more of a passive setup with their information, and instead maybe you can utilize the KO Molly, and you just have so many options on post plant.
Yeah.
That composition.
Yeah, agreed. That makes me think, how proactive do you think Aconite are going to be on the time where they want to claim space for themselves? They're going to be able to use the Cascade, for example, right? And that's going to be really their main tool. But aside from that, I'd like to think in terms of the aggro taking space early department, OCM almost have their number in every aspect. You can throw darts or drones and flashes through the cascades, and there's nothing you can do about it to counter it. Do you think that's going to be a big clash? Do you think Aconite are going to be forced to make themselves a lot more passive and rely a lot more on mid-round and late information from things like Joak lurking and through Misu forcing himself to take 1v1s that are inherently risky?
Something that we saw in their series yesterday against Last Resort, and something that I'd imagine is likely again, is just taking up just the right amount of space to farm that orb on A main on the defense. So taking a bit of space, but not taking, you know, the entirety of A main or B main. They're not going to be looking to push into the attacker spawn unless it's off of timing or off of a very late reclear, but more so just taking increments of space at a time, because as you say, if you try to take too much and be a bit too greedy, there's a high risk of you getting punished.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think that's going to be an interesting dynamic that we're going to be seeing with these two compositions. They're very different in the way that they're going to be handling the space taking. They're going to be handling their aggressive or protocols in general. It's nice to see we're going to be continuing to see that aggressive, that cycle of the walls, which is just going to be so threatening. But I think, honestly, OCM on paper have the best comp to handle something like that. Or even you could swap the KO with the Gecko and it would also be incredibly strong. It really does depend on how you handle and how you play around it. It's equally as potent. So I'm excited for this. I really think that although this is an Aconite favored map, the composition is going to be a challenge for this team. I think that's what they're looking for. They want to see that go through. They had a great battle last time against the Last Resort, and this time they're going to still deal with that and hopefully make it out on top to guarantee themselves that top 3 spot and a rematch against the Last Resort. But Office Chair Moment, they've proven themselves worthy adversaries, no doubt. We thought these guys to be the next teams alongside the top that we've already mentioned, to be up there with the big dogs, and they want to prove it with this one. Last time it was so incredibly close. In fact, I believe the same map, was it Lotus, that they played their best of 1 on? Went 11-13.
Well, between these two teams, it was Haven.
But Haven, there you go. Regardless of that, great, difficult scoreline to be dealing with, but it was Aconite again back-to-back to win 13-11 on both their best of 1 on Haven and this opening map here on Lotus. This time, that pattern needs to break. We need to see a return to form here from Office Chair Moment, enough to break through this streak that they have.
Yeah, and just a bit of an update. We've been waiting on one player to get back and ready to go into map 2, but we're still going to be going into it soon and getting a bit into the implications of this match on the rest of the bracket. You alluded a bit to it yourself, but Aconite, if they close out this second map, would be able to have a rematch against Last Resort, which they definitely want to be able to take revenge on them after such a close finish yesterday in that winner's semi. And Jilly, Gilly, Willie G, New Willie G, whatever you want to call them. Waiting in
you really found the thesaurus of alternate names of that one.
I mean, pretty much all the options, whatever you want to call them, are waiting in the winner's side of that grand finals for tomorrow. And I think all 3 of these teams would be very hungry to take a shot at them.
No doubt. I mean, that team is by far, Jelly by far, the strong favorites in this tournament. And it is for good reason. Despite them having a good challenge against the Last Resort on the second map of their series before, they ended up still winning 2-0. And they had all the reasons to prove it. They've had some scary individual players, including some really good general leadership and consistent form from all of these players. I think a player to look out for in my mind from that team is Sunless, also known as Smile. He has been a force to be reckoned with in this tournament, and they have been enabling each other to a huge degree, and I think that's the difference that Jilly have with the rest of the teams in this tournament. Both these teams, Aconite, Office Chair Moment, Last Resort, the 2 next best teams, they all enjoy thriving on their own strong compositions and teamwork value, whereas Jilly are so damn strong themselves that they like having them run triple duelist. Like, okay, I like to count Chamber as a duelist. That's just me. I see that as triple duelist in my mind, but they like to just let their best players go on their best agent, and as long as it's functional, it is exactly what they want. And it still works because they just have that much confidence, and still they have a good enough strat book from their adaptation ability alone to really be the reason why they are the biggest threat in this event and the biggest target for everybody else. On to Icebox. The comps are in, and we are seeing a shift in the composition here for Office Chair Moment. It's going to be Modi on the ISO instead of the KO. We saw him play the KO multiple times throughout this tournament, but this time it shifted going towards ISO for the double duelist. Aside from that, it is exactly what we expected, both from Office Chair Moment on the rest of their players and from Aconite.
Yeah, this ISO pick is very interesting to me, and since it was Aconite's map pick, Office Chair Moment would have picked to start on that attack side first. So what I'm feeling from this is that they're gonna do a pretty standard thing and go for those A hits.
Oh yeah,
almost all of the time. ISO will give you even more options to go for that sort of play with the vulnerable, and just the fact that you have the shield to enable you to brute force into that A site. Although Molotovs will cause some difficulties for Q